Hello friends, welcome back to the new tutorial of the GraphQL Node.js. Today we are going to learn about the resolvers. So what do you mean by the resolvers? We are going to learn in this video. Before those who haven't subscribed my channel yet, please do subscribe my channel, and if you like the video, please do like, share and comment on my video. Let's get started. So the resolvers are the functions that handle the logic behind the fetching the data for the fields defined in the GraphQL schema. So basically one line, what we can say, fetching the data. Okay, here is the breakdown what the resolvers do. Data fetching: when a client makes a query, for example asking for the list of the books, the GraphQL server uses resolvers to determine how to fetch the data. Resolvers can pull the data from the various sources such as databases, APIs, or even in memory data. So if an example, if we can show you, so basically here you can see that. So this is the definition of the schema. Okay, so what it says: when a client makes a query, so when I make a query like this, okay, when I make a query, okay, for example asking for the list of books, I'm asking for the list of the books, right? So here because the book is the object, right? So the GraphQL server uses resolvers to determine how to fetch the data. Resolvers can pull the data from the various sources like the databases, APIs, and even in memory data. So here you can see that we have already defined in the resolvers like this. Here you can see whenever there is a whenever we call this as a books as a query, here you can see that books query. So this kind of data it will return, that is the books, the array of objects. Here you can see that we have defined that one. Okay, how it works, how the GraphQL knows that the resolvers, how to fetch the data or something, what's the relation between that? Let's discuss that part also. Okay, so first discuss data fetching. Mapping fields to the functions. Each field in the type like books in the query type has a corresponding resolver. Okay, function. So here you can see that we have a query, right? So here you can see that in the query we have the books, and with the books we have also the resolver for that one. Okay, so here you can see that books we have a resolver also that will return the array of books. Okay, so this is that one. This function tells the server how to get the data for the field. For instance, if you ask the title of the book, the resolver will specify how to retrieve that title. Okay, returning the data. After fetching the data, resolvers return the result back to the GraphQL server, which then format it a specified client's query. This means that the client gets exactly what they ask for in the correct structure. Arguments. Resolver can also take the arguments, allowing the clients to specify conditions for the data they want. For example, you might have a book ID query when there is where the resolver uses the provided ID to fetch the specific book. You can also pass the arguments, right? Okay, so asynchronous operations. Resolvers often perform the asynchronous operations specifically when the fetching the data from the database or the external APIs. Okay, so this is the common resolver. Here you can see that the books, and here we are returning all the list of the books. Okay, let's more simplify that one. Okay, I have something below. Apollo server needs to know how to populate the data for every field in the schema. Okay, so first of all, Apollo server needs to know how to populate the data for the every field, whatever you have defined in your schema. So this is your schema, right? So this is your schema type definitions, right? So it can populate the data in a way you define, such as fetching the data from the backend database or the third party API. Okay, so for that one, if you want to make the request, like suppose we have defined the schema. So first part is we have defined the schema, okay, in your schema, so that it can respond to the request for the data. To accomplish this, it uses the resolvers, how the data being fetched, how the data being returned, that the resolver do. Basically one line we can say the data fetching, the work is done by the resolvers. Okay, if you don't define a resolver, what will happen? A particular field, Apollo server automatically defines default resolver for it. Okay, so let's take an example and see how the resolver works. Okay, first of all, let's take an example that we are defining the GraphQL schema pet. Okay, so here you can see that I'm going to define the schema like pet. Okay, here you can see I have defining the schema that is pet. Okay, and here type query would be the pets. Okay, type query would be the pets, right? Now pet, okay, a type. Here you can see that we have a type that has a name and the type like a dog or the cat. Okay. Query, here you can see that we have query, a way to ask for the data. Here we are asking for the list of pets. Okay, you can see the list of pets. Now the resolvers, now we need to create a resolver to fetch the data for the pets query. So here we are creating the resolvers like this. Okay, so let's create the resolver also. So here we have the resolvers, let's use this one. Okay, what next? How it works: client query, when a client sends a query asking for the pets. So this is the query I'm asking for the pets. Okay, so let's run this one. Okay, let's go and let's add this. Let's refresh it. It will come over here. Okay, pets. Okay, so here you can see that I have added the pets. Okay, so the step is client query, when a client sends a query asking for the pets. Okay, what the resolver done? The GraphQL server looks at the schema and sees there is a pet query. If it is there, it will find the corresponding resolver function. So here you can see that it will getting the respective function. Okay, so here you can see the resolver function, it will checking, right, it is there, and it will check that the how the data is returned. Okay, so the data returned, the resolver runs and returns the list of the pets. So here you can see that this is the resolver function for the pets query. Okay, so this is how the data being returned. Okay, so this is all where for the pets returns a hard-coded list of the pets when the pets query is made. Let's see, let's run it, how it works. Here you can see the name and the type. If I suppose I don't need the type, what will happen? Only the name and name will come. Okay, so this is how the resolver work. Any doubt, any query in that, do let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.